Hi, I'm Christian with BirdDog, and today we're unboxing the brand new KBD controller. I wasn't lying, it's real. Let's take a look. Now the first thing we're going to see when we open up the box is what we've gotten used to with all of our new products. This little QR code. If you scan this QR code, it's going to take you directly to our website where you can find any new firmware downloads. And if you feel like reading any documentation like our user guide, that'll be available there as well. Underneath that, we have our welcome package. We all love it. Stickers, cable ties, all the good stuff. In this little white box right here, we have our DC power adapter and all of the international adapters. And right here in the middle is what we all came to see, the KBD. Now it does come on the back with this little cover for our PoE port. So I'm going to take that out. And now let's get some power. Now the first thing we're going to see when the KBD boots up out of the box, just like we're seeing on the screen right now, is the text, "The current device list is empty." That's expected because we haven't added anything yet because we just powered on our KBD for the first time. What we're going to do to get started is we're going to come to the setup button right here. This is going to take us to the on-screen menu on the KBD itself. Now what we're going to do first is we're just going to do what Christian wants to do. And that is coming down to our system set, which is just shorthanded for our system settings. And in this menu, we'll find a dark mode interface selection. And now I just think dark mode's a little bit nicer for my eyes. Choose what you may. Now I'm going to hit escape right here, and this is going to take me back to the screen that we started on and out of the menu. Now that we're back here, let's go back to our setup menu. Now, first thing I want to do is take us down to our network settings. Now you'll see I'm navigating this little menu just by taking the joystick up and down. That's how we're going to navigate through this on-screen menu. Now I can see that my keyboard is in DHCP and it's acquired an IP address of 192.168.1.51. So let's go find the web UI at that IP address. Now, like with all BirdDog products, the initial password out of the box is going to be BirdDog, all lowercase. So let's go enter that real quick. Now, after we enter the default password, it's going to prompt us to change it right away. So I'm going to change my password really quick. Now when I hit apply, I'll see the modified successfully. And now I'm going to enter it one more time to grant us access to the web UI. Now, just like we saw earlier on the KBD itself, it's showing me in my dashboard that I have no devices found, simply because we haven't added anything yet. So in the upper right portion where my cursor is, we see this search device. And this is what we'll use to search our network for NDI sources and to add them. So I'm going to click this and see we automatically load with NDI. I'm going to hit apply. And now all of the available NDI sources on my network populate. I have 4 sources that I have set up here in my studio. So let's see if I can track them down. And then the initial channel that I'm going to start adding them is channel 1. So my cameras will be at 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've added. And just like that, I have 4 sources available. And now what's really cool is if I come over to this control tab, we'll see multi-view settings. We've heard a lot about multi-view on the KBD. And don't worry, we're going to get there. I'm going to show you multi-view. Our first 4 sources will default into the first 4 windows for the multi-view as default. Now I could select these and change any of these 4 sources to any of the spots. however I want. Or if I am in a particular mood and want to leave one of the squares empty, I can do that. But we'll leave it as cameras 1 through 4. To our right in KBD settings, one thing I want to draw your attention to is our first configuration right here. It's our tally border. I'm going to turn this on because I want to highlight this feature for you when we get everything set up. Now we're going to come back over to the dashboard. To delete a source on the KBD, we'll first go to the little checkbox next to whatever source you want to delete. I'll select our checkbox. I'll click the trash can. It's going to ask me if I really want to delete it, and yes, I do. Now, another thing we can do when we hit this checkbox is we have our little pencil here to edit. Now, if I didn't want to use NDI as my main protocol, and let's say I wanted to use Visca IP, this is the menu where I'll go through and configure Visca IP for this camera. Now, we're not going to dive into that in this video, but we will in a future video. Now I'm just going to delete these last 3 cameras real quick. And now let's go back to the KBD. Let's take a look at how we add devices directly from the physical unit. We're going to go back to our setup menu. Now we initially start at our device list. And as we can see, we don't have any devices because we just got done removing all of our devices in the web UI. Now using the joystick, I'm going to move it down to navigate through the menu. And likewise, I can move it up to move back through. Now I'm going to come here to our second tab, search device. And using the joystick to move over to the right, I'm going to highlight our search function. And then pressing either enter or joystick button, I'm going to select. And then moving the joystick down, I'm going to highlight NDI because that's where my sources are. And just like that, all of the sources that I had available via the web UI, I also have available right here on the KBD to be added directly. So I'm just going to come through and add the same 4 sources that I had earlier. And then when I get to the bottom of our device list here, you'll see I move down to our column of 4 little selections. Search, select all, cancel, and add. And as I'm going through, you'll see I can go left and right to control back and forth, or I can go up and down to navigate through. Your choice. And then once we get to add, I'm just going to select enter again, navigating down to save. I will select, and we've added successfully. Now to exit the menu here, I'm going to press escape. And that's going to take us back out of the menu. Now, since I added cameras 1 through 4 to our device list, let's take a look and see if it shows up the same way on the KBD as it did in the web UI. So coming back to our setup menu, we'll see that I've added cameras on channels 1 through 4, just like it was when we added them in the web UI. So let's leave this menu again. Now, there are 2 different ways that I can select sources on the KBD itself. Let's pull up my camera 4 that I believe is my X5, which is my main camera shot here. So if I select Cam ID 4 and enter, you'll notice that my camera 4 here is highlighted. And just like that, there I am. And now we mentioned earlier a couple of different things that we toggled on in the web UI. One of which being the tally. The NDI tally. So I have this camera right now in my switching software as a preview, and that's why I'm getting that green border. And now if I press this camera 4 button again, it'll take us to our multi-view. And just like that, I can see all 4 of my sources available in one frame. And you'll notice that my X5 or my camera 4 down here, it still has that green tally border around it. One of my other favorite features about the KBD is the ability that we have to control our AI tracking. One thing that I want to show you is how we can enable it and control it directly from this physical unit without having to navigate to the camera's web UI. So right now I have my X1 Ultra selected, and over here on the control, we have an AI enable button. If I select AI enable, it will toggle on our AI tracking, and you'll notice that there's a little blue box around me right now. So it's identified me in the frame. And if I come down to AI confirm and confirm me as the source, my little box will go green. And then if I move back out of frame, my X1 Ultra, it's going to follow me. And now if I move back in frame, it follows me right back. And I can turn it off just by selecting AI enable once again. Now, it's not lost on me that the primary feature of a controller is control. So let's show you with my X5 that I can move and move. And if I have a hard time getting back to figuring out where my preset was, all I have to do is just press 1 right here, and that's going to recall my preset 1. Now, if I want to have a little bit more advanced control with our KBD, I can hold the shift button here, and then when I'm panning, I'm using Superfine. It's helpful if I don't try to zoom at the same time. And this is going to dramatically slow down the PTZ speed, so you can really hone in on what you're trying to do. And just by taking off of shift, I'm back to my normal speeds. And recalling preset 1 takes me right back. And that wraps up our unboxing of the brand new BirdDog KBD controller. Thanks for stopping by, and if you have any questions, please visit us at birddog.tv or reach out to our support team directly at help@birddog.tv.